So this is how I ended up in federal prison without ever being arrested. I heard that I was under investigation for some real estate transactions that I was involved in between 2005 and 2008. And the investigation, drug on. I went and hired an attorney because at that point in time, we spent every dime we had to try to fight this. The attorney told me, I don't think what you did is that big of a deal. I mean, banks were involved, everyone else was involved. And I wanted to hear that because the last thing I wanted to do is go to prison. I was terrified. Really what I thought is if I go to prison, my whole life is over. It's like a death. Only bad people go to prison. So anyway, I continued to fight and argue and spend every dime we had to try to avoid going to prison. And eventually I was indicted. So when it's a federal case, they present the information to a grand jury. They chose to indict me, which is basically being charged, but nobody showed up at my house and arrested me. My attorney called and said, hey, they have chosen to indict you. So I had to go down to the federal courthouse, have my fingerprints done, and then I walked right out because I wasn't a flight risk or a danger to society. It was actually from that point in time, that was 2011, and it wasn't until 2015 that I actually walked into a federal prison. And I handled it as bad as I could. I didn't make a deal early on. I fought it, I argued, and I was just so scared. But eventually the day came where I walked into a federal courthouse, and at that point I had made everybody mad, and they could have sentenced me anywhere from 0 to 7 years. The judge picked 7, which I probably deserved because I had been so belligerent. And then I was given 8 weeks to self-surrender in Dublin, California, and my husband drove me to Dublin, California. And I walked into a high security federal prison with a 7-year prison sentence. And that's how I ended up in prison without ever being arrested.